On a remote hillside near Mount Ararat in Turkey lies
told Fox News Digital.
And we found out that it has almost 3 times as much organic matter inside the boat formation versus just right outside.
Oh my God!
A powerful storm drenched New York with staggering amounts of rain and
in the freezing skies of eastern Turkey, Mount Ararat towers over 16,800 feet high, where the Bible says Noah's legendary ark came to rest after the Great Flood. But now, modern radar has uncovered a shocking secret: a bunch of hallways, rooms, and right-angled structures buried deep in the ice, with sizes that almost perfectly match the ark described in Genesis 6:15. Can you believe it? These ruins that seemed like myths are slowly showing up right in front of humanity. At the Darupanar Formation, 18 miles from the peak, archaeologists found a structure over 538 feet long, looking like a petrified boat in the middle of the wild land. Under the dirt, there are traces of rotted wood, sea creature sediments, and unexplainable scientific data that's stunning experts. Is this just a wonder of nature, or the real remains of the ark that saved mankind? Genesis 8:4 reminds us, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. This discovery doesn't just bring back the old story, it feels like a warning from God. Humanity needs to wake up, because a second great flood might be coming soon. Every clue, every hallway that appears is like God whispering, "Look and see his signs." Stick around until the end of the video. You'll see the latest evidence and clues that are shocking the whole world. Don't miss it. Let's start this mysterious journey by going back to when people first began hunting for Noah's Ark, where legend meets reality and sparks a story that's lasted centuries. Can you picture it? From ancient writings to modern satellite photos, this legendary ship has fired up the curiosity and courage of countless explorers, archaeologists, and even skeptical scientists. Is this just a historical search, or a gentle warning from God about a disaster on the way? As far back as the 3rd century BC, the tale of Noah and the Great Flood has echoed through civilizations. The Sumerians told of Gilgamesh and a worldwide flood. The Greeks had Deucalion and his wife escaping raging waters. And India passed down the story of Manu, saved by a magical boat. They all share one thing: humanity, facing terrifying nature and trying to record how it survived. Mount Ararat in the Bible isn't just the highest peak around, it's a symbol of faith. Where Genesis 8:4, it says, "The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat." Its role is strengthened in Jewish, Christian, and Muslim traditions, making every cold wind up there whisper an ancient secret. In the 19th century, the search got real with actual explorers. In 1883, James Bryce, while surveying Mount Ararat, noted strange marks on the slopes that stunned scholars and pilots. In the decades after, from Ron Wyatt, with aerial photos to BBC and National Geographic missions in the 1,960 seconds, every effort aimed to answer, are these odd shapes remnants of the giant ship, or just nature playing tricks? Each new find stirs excitement and doubt in the global community. But the hunt isn't easy. Ararat's harsh terrain, with permanent ice, steep slopes, and sudden earthquakes, has doomed many expeditions. Plus, its sensitive border spot between Turkey and Iran, along with archaeology bans before 2020, turned this into a challenge of geography and politics. Still, recent climate changes are melting the ice, revealing mysterious new structures and giving scientists fresh chances to keep searching. Imagine standing on Mount Ararat, looking down at Darupanar, and feeling divine signs unfolding. It's a reminder that, like Noah, we're all called to spot the signs and get our spirits ready for what's coming. As you follow this journey, remember that every bit of data, every photo, every trace that scientists and archaeologists gather helps clarify one message. God is warning humanity, about global challenges ahead, reminding us that the time to wake up and strengthen our faith is now. Every layer of melting ice, every new discovery at Darupanar brings us closer to answers, but also raises more questions. Is this really Noah's Ark? Or is it God's way of slowly revealing a message so we realize a second great flood is near? Keep watching to the end, because this journey still has many secrets to uncover, and his warning is waiting for you to understand. What do you think? Those odd shapes at Darupanar, are they the real remains of the legendary boat, or just a perfect trick of nature? Walking up the hillside, you feel excited and almost holy, like God himself is calling us to see an old message. These ancient mysteries aren't just history. They remind us we need to get ready for troubles that haven't come yet. Down in Dou Bayazut district, Ara province, the Darupanar formation stretches about 538 feet long, wide enough to look like Noah's boat from the Bible. Genesis 6:14-16 says, "Make yourself an ark of gopher wood, 300 cubits long, 50 wide, 30 high." Seen from the air, the soft curves of limonite look like an old boat sleeping in the dry rocks, making you wonder if this is God's warning about a second great flood. The discovery story is full of drama. Back in the 1952, a Turkish Air Force pilot snapped pictures of strange marks on the ground by accident, starting a mysterious hunt. Decades later, Ron Wyatt dug tunnels looking for iron nails he thought came from Noah's boat, though folks later said they were just basalt rock. Professor Farooq Kaya once said, "It feels like walking on the backbone of a giant creature, where time and nature meet." Early geology findings make Darupanar even more interesting. Tests on the limonite show iron ore mixed with flood mud, plus seashells and sea life traces, hinting the place was once underwater. Carbon dating puts the samples at 3,500, 5,000 years old, close to the Chalcolithic period. But the big question stays: natural thing or man-made sign, left to remind us forever of floods God used to test mankind? The Bible and old stories echo here. Genesis 8:4 says, "The ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat." Looking at Darupanar, we see the shape match and feel a hidden message. Just as God warned Noah to prepare for the great flood, people today get a nudge about global troubles that could hit again. Every line, every section, every strip of limonite seems to tell an old story that's part myth, part real. Every time you study Darupanar, it's not just a hazy rock strip in the desert. You feel history breathing and myth mixing with science. You can picture God using these marks to warn us about a second great flood, that life needs saving if we spot the signs in time. Like the prophecy in Hosea 4:6, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Darupanar teaches us to stay alert, to have faith, and spot God's signs. Steps on Darupanar seem to link past and present. The boat shape, sea life traces, iron sediments, all whisper a reminder. God once used a flood to cleanse and save life, and he might use ways we haven't guessed to send messages to those who stay awake. The slow reveal of Darupanar itself is a warning that we need to be ready, that a second great flood could be real and we can't ignore it. As you keep following this journey, remember, Darupanar isn't just an archaeology site. It's a holy message. Every layer of dirt, every satellite photo, every survey step is a piece that says God is watching, reminding, and calling us to build our faith. The Bible match makes the whole story feel alive like never before. Just when you think the Darupanar mystery is almost all figured out, modern tech from 2024 to 2025 is shocking the whole science and archaeology crowd. Ground-penetrating radar, chemical tests, ice scans, all that data feels like it's sharing a brand new story, uncovering secrets folks have called legends for ages. The Noah's Ark Scans Project, a team-up between American and Turkish researchers like Andrew Jones, William Crabtree, Istanbul University, and Andrews University, used ground-penetrating radar to scan Darupanar. There's a central hallway 234 feet long, split into 3 levels, with rooms sticking out at right angles, matching Genesis 6:15. The ark shall be 300 cubits long, 50 wide, and 30 high. These measurements make you wonder, is this the real remnant of Noah's ark? Or is God hinting to us about another big flood coming soon? Chemical and biological analyses make the mystery even deeper. The soil inside Darupanar has 3 times more organic stuff than around it: acidic pH, sea sediments, and shells, mollusks. These clues can't be explained by regular natural events, reminding us of Genesis 7:19-20. The waters rose up to 15 cubits above every mountain. On the icy slopes of Mount Ararat, long and clear shapes are showing up as the ice melts. Gary Eastman says, an ancient boat shape appears, long and sturdy, making folks both scared and curious. This form brings to mind Genesis 8:4. The ark rested on the peaks of Ararat. It's not just nature at work. It seems like a living prophecy, warning us. Just like Noah got warned, people today need to get ready for huge floods that God might send again. The first excavation info at Darupanar has been confirmed by Daily Sabah and Jerusalem Post, with plans for core drilling, material testing, and careful preservation. This is a rare chance to see a legend step out of the Bible and face reality head-on. Each new find sparks curiosity and also reminds us of a big global event ahead. Darupanar isn't just a ship from the past. It's like a reminder that a second great flood could hit if humanity doesn't wake up. Like Hosea 4:6, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." We're being warned through these traces. Stay alert, watch closely, and don't ignore the signs God is sending. With the 2024 to 2025 data, we're not just following an archaeology dig. We're seeing a thrilling moment where legends, faith, and science come together. Every step on Darupanar is a reminder. God once used the Great Flood to protect life, and He could still send warnings to our generation today. Scientists and archaeologists all agree that the Darupanar Formation has features that make anyone's heart skip a beat. It's 538 feet long, 87 feet wide, and about 52 feet high, almost exactly matching the ship described in Genesis 6:15. This huge size is one reason scientists stop and think, could this be man-made or just a wild coincidence from nature? Can you feel the excitement right now? The evidence gets clearer with data from the Noah's Ark Scans Project 2024-2025. Ground-penetrating radar found a center hallway about 234 feet long, with 3 levels and lots of rooms branching off. Team member Andrew Jones said, "This structure looks built to survive a terrible flood." Fox News, the 26th of May, 2025. On the computer screen, the radar images showed giant shapes under the dirt, like a massive building that maybe only God could have put right there. What adds to the wonder is the chemical and biological tests at Darupanar. The soil inside has 3 times more organic material than normal: high potassium, an acid pH like rotted wood, and sea sediment with shells and seafood. Carbon dating puts it at 3,505,000 years old, from the Chalcolithic period, close to when the Bible says the Great Flood happened. Looking at this, you might wonder, is God leaving signs of His plan to save mankind through Noah? On top of that, strange ice structures on Mount Ararat are showing up as the climate changes. Gary Eastman's report says a boat shape seems to be rising from the permafrost. The first digging plans at Darupanar are announced, including core drilling and preservation, promising more new info. Right now, you can picture a giant structure buried for thousands of years, slowly coming out, and God letting our eyes see part of it. Science helps us understand better, but it also raises questions. GPR, electrical resistivity, ERT, and carbon dating are the main tools to figure out age and shape. Compared to other sites, like old Egyptian boats or buried wooden ships, Darupanar is still something never seen before. This data makes you trust science, yet marvel at a mystery it can't fully explain. Still, scientists are clearly limited by the data. There's no clear petrified wood yet. Carbon dates are sometimes later than Genesis says for the flood, about 4,800 years ago. This makes some scientists cautious. Is it a natural thing, or a man-made structure God meant to last? It makes me think, while scientists have fancy modern machines, they can't explain events the Bible mentioned long ago. That just shows how small we humans are before His endless power. Some viewers have shared that if God preserved Noah's Ark, maybe the radar and chemical signs are His way of letting us see His miracle. Andrew Jones also said, this data isn't absolute proof, but it's pieces that, put together, paint a living picture of God's rescue plan. Overall, the Darupanar Formation and the 2024-2025 finds bring a rare mix of science and the Bible. Is Noah's Ark really under this ice and sediment, or a masterpiece of nature God put here to test our imagination and faith? The final answer isn't clear yet, but the surveys, radar, chemical tests, and carbon dating are opening mysterious clues, making us think, as the ship slowly shows itself, could it be a sign of a second great flood for all mankind? Genesis 6:8 reminds us, the Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and He decided to save Noah and his family and every kind of animal on the ark. It makes war. When you look at the global disaster map for 2025, does it feel like all the signs are coming together to warn us? We've seen Noah's Ark show up on Mount Ararat, and now tsunamis, storms, floods, and rising seas seem to be reminding us that time is running out. And now, you and I will ride the waves and dive into the next part of the journey, the 5 big disasters hitting humanity, along with the prophecies that match them. 1. Tsunami off the Kamchatka Peninsula. On the 30th of July 2025, a huge 8.8 earthquake shook the waters off Kamchatka, Russia. Tsunami warnings went out right away to Japan and all the way to the US coast. Radar images, emergency alerts, and millions of people evacuating created a mix of panic and tension that stopped the world in its tracks. Folks in Japan stared at the ocean, wondering if those giant waves crashing in were a reminder that nature is pushing back, just like it did thousands of years ago. Scientists say the Kamchatka tsunami wasn't just a one-off event. It connected the US, Japan, and Russia with rising water and damage no one could predict. Every alert, every news update, every satellite photo drove home the point. Our planet is shaking in ways we haven't seen in ages. It all feels like a throwback to the old story, a worldwide flood where Noah's Ark was humanity's only hope. Here's the key. Genesis 7:19-20 says clearly, the waters rose and covered the mountains to a depth of more than 15 cubits, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. The Kamchatka tsunami was smaller, but it carried a powerful message. Water rising, global warnings, people fleeing in fear, but also curiosity. It all points to the great flood coming back. This event reminds us that the traces of Noah's Ark on Ararat aren't just history or legend. As water rises from Japan to the US, the link between the Ark and flood comes alive. God warned that we'd see fierce natural events as a wake-up call. Genesis 8:4 says, the Ark came to rest on the mountains of Ararat, a sign that the Ark once saved us in the past, and now we need to stay alert for the floods ahead. Every time the Kamchatka waves hit, we see nature's rhythm, the tie to ancient remains, and the Bible's warning. Time is moving fast, and God's message stays the same. Keep your eyes on the sea, get your heart ready, and let faith guide you through the storms waiting up ahead. 2. Big storm, Hurricane Erin, in the North Atlantic. Just when the Kamchatka tsunami was still fresh in everyone's mind, another fierce storm was heading straight for the US coast, packing winds and water like nothing we'd seen before. come along as we follow Hurricane Erin, a reminder from nature that's both scary and hard to look away from. Hurricane Erin, a Category 5, tore across the North Atlantic in 2025 at a terrifying speed and slammed right into the East Coast, especially North Carolina and Virginia. It ripped through towns, knocking everything sideways, trees uprooted, water flooding homes, live satellite shots, emergency news, and videos from the ground painted a wild, chaotic picture that still pulled you in. Time felt like it was speeding up, with every gust of wind saying loud and clear that nature can turn life upside down in minutes. Weather folks recorded super low pressure and winds over 155 miles per hour, forcing whole neighborhoods to clear out fast. This storm wasn't just weather, it was a big, symbolic wake-up call, bringing to mind that old story when water rose and covered the whole earth, and Noah's Ark was the only way out. You could almost feel your heart race, picturing rivers of water sweeping everything away, wondering if something like that could happen again. And when we look straight at Genesis 7:17-18, it says, "The rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. The waters rose and covered every high mountain under the heavens." Hurricane Erin, with its fierce water and wind, feels like an echo of that worldwide flood in the prophecy. Every blast of wind, every wave crashing over the shore reminds us that God's power is still here, and we need to stay alert to these signs. Erin isn't just a weather event. It's proof that nature is mirroring ancient warnings, the way the Darupanar site once showed traces of Noah's Ark on Ararat. As water and wind sweep across the land, the picture of fierce water and wind comes alive like a prophecy, telling us that if we don't watch and get ready, people might face the Great Flood challenge all over again. I keep wondering, is this nature's final reminder? Are the signs from Ararat and Darupanar linking up with today, warning that the time for a second Great Flood is getting close? Every second that passes, every hard gust of wind pulls us deeper into this mysterious story that history, science, and the Bible all tell together. A living message anyone watching Erin has to think about. 3. Heavy rain and long-lasting floods in Europe. Europe is dealing with another big problem from nature, and this time it's non-stop heavy rain and flooding. Water is rushing into cities, sweeping away everything in its path, and shaking up the whole continent. It's not just weather, it's a message from nature that leaves you worried, but curious to learn every detail. Summer 2025 inches, France saw extreme heat mixed with a long drought, then suddenly broken by one big rainstorm after another and non-stop floods. Cities like Lyon, Paris, and Bordeaux had water pouring into homes, streets turning into rivers, traffic completely stopped, and damage estimated at over 10 billion euros. The videos from the scene, urgent news updates on lemonde.4, and satellite pictures keep you holding your breath as you watch. Time feels short, and every downpour reminds us that nature can turn everything upside down in just minutes. The floods in France aren't just a one-time thing. They're part of a string of extreme events, a sign that the planet is sending serious warnings. Weather experts say the mix of heat, drought, and extreme rain and floods shows the climate changing fast, making natural disasters worse, and it brings to mind the old warning about the waters rising. The Bible warned mankind long ago in Genesis 6:17, "For behold, I will bring flood waters on the earth to destroy from under heaven all flesh in which is the breath of life. Everything that is on the earth shall die." Even if this isn't a worldwide great flood, the long and fierce floods in France in 2025 echo that prophecy about water covering the earth, reminding us that God's power is still here and we need to see the signs before it's too late. Every picture of flooded streets, uprooted trees, and people rushing to evacuate makes your heart beat faster. A reminder that nature can be God's way of warning us. These events also make Darupanar, the remains of Noah's Ark on Ararat, feel more real, as past and present come together, and every fierce rainstorm is a reminder that a second great flood might not just be a story anymore. 4. Serious flooding in the U.S., with storms and tornadoes coming one after another. In the first 6 months of 2025, the U.S. saw a string of severe thunderstorms and fierce tornadoes that caused about $34 billion in damage, according to Munich Re. States like Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Mississippi went through terrifying scenes. Streets turned into rivers, homes flooded, trees uprooted, and folks had to evacuate in a hurry. The live footage, emergency alerts, and satellite reports made it feel like time was speeding by, and every minute was a reminder that nature waits for no one. The heavy rains and wild tornadoes in the U.S. aren't just local events. They're part of a bigger global warning. Watching the rushing water, it's hard not to think of the great flood the Bible predicted, hinting that a second great flood might be closer than we think. Nature is sending a clear message. When water covers everything, its power can't be tamed. Psalm 29:3-4 says, "The voice of the Lord is over the waters. The God of glory thunders. The Lord is over many waters." This isn't a worldwide great flood, but the floods, storm surges, and tornadoes in the U.S. in 2025 echo warnings of rising waters and the awful might of nature when God's power shows through rain and wind. Every flooded home, every washed-out road, and every person forced to flee is living proof that time is running short. Darupanar, the remains of Noah's Ark on Ararat, and real events like the U.S. Floods are tightly linked, showing that the past and present are coming together. The warning of a second great flood isn't just a myth anymore. The tornadoes, downpours, and widespread flooding leave people scared yet curious, wondering, are we seeing the signs God wants us to notice before the final moment comes? Every storm, every flood, every whirlpool is a strong reminder, bringing Darupanar and the Bible's warnings to life, leaving anyone watching stunned and thinking hard. 5. The big tsunamis in Japan. Just when you think all the storms and floods have shaken the world enough, Japan gets hit hard by nature's power again. On the 11th of September 2025, Tokyo got slammed with rain, pouring down like a bucket, 12 centimeters in just 1 hour. Streets flooded deep, power went out, and there were high warnings about possible tsunamis. Water rushed fast through the crowded city. Folks panicked and looked for safe spots while rescue teams raced against the clock. Pictures of rain coming down like a waterfall, strong winds knocking over trees, and floodwater pushing into neighborhoods made a scene that was scary, but also got you wondering, is this just a crazy storm or something bigger? All these things happening around the world, from Kamchatka to the east coast of America, from floods in Europe to Tokyo, sound like a warning song. They remind us of a message we've never seen before. Water can rise any time, way beyond what we expect. In one moment, we stand in front of nature's strength and feel how fragile life is and how little time we have. In Isaiah 54:9 it says, "Like the day I swore that Noah's flood would not wipe the earth again, I have sworn I will not leave you." The warnings in Tokyo aren't just heavy rain, they're signs. A reminder that people need to wake up before a worldwide flood comes. Revelation 16:3 echoes too. An angel poured out the second bowl on the sea, and it turned into blood like a dead body. Every living thing in the sea died. The wild water and rising tsunamis feel like they're showing the warning of a second great flood, linking straight to the remains of Noah's Ark on Ararat. Every rain, every flood, every tsunami is a piece of a global message. They push us to watch, think, and get our hearts ready for things we've never seen, reminding us that history can repeat itself and there's not much time left to wait. You can feel the rush of this moment. Every minute that passes, the water rises and the Bible's warnings come alive more than ever, like nature itself is telling humanity about the promise and the flood that's coming. The journey from legend to science in 2025 has taken us to Darupanar, where that odd shape on Mount Ararat's slope looks just like Noah's Ark. Radar scans, chemical tests, and ice surveys show clues we can't explain yet, like 3-level hallways and right-angle rooms. It makes you wonder, could this be proof of the second great flood the Bible warned about? The natural disasters of 2025 drive the warning home. A tsunami off Kamchatka, Hurricane Erin on the U.S. East Coast, weeks of flooding in France, tornadoes across America, and Tokyo underwater, all fit a worldwide pattern of rising seas and raging storms. It's a reminder that time to wake up is running short. Isaiah 54:9 says, "Just as I swore the waters of Noah would never again cover the earth, so I swear I will not be angry with you." It's a promise and a warning. We need to get our hearts and minds ready. Genesis 7:19-20 echoes in today's extreme weather. The waters rose 15 cubits above the highest mountains, and every living thing was wiped off the face of the earth. The signs at Darupanar, the 2025 disasters, and these verses all point the same way. A second great flood could come, and we must stay alert and never ignore the signs. We can't afford to wait any longer. Watch, think, hold on to faith in God, and prepare your soul. The data from Darupanar and disasters around the world show that science and the Bible don't cancel each other out. They back each other up, proving God's power and warnings are real right now. Let every wave, storm, and flood be a living reminder. Share this message. Talk about it with others. Hit like, share, and subscribe to keep following the mysteries as they unfold. The Darupanar mystery and the events of 2025 call everyone to wake up, trust in God, and get their hearts ready for a second great flood, where history might repeat, but faith and preparation will carry us through.
This is a sample of one of the big scrolls. We have 5 of them.
Tin, một mô hình AI do các nhà khoa học nước ngoài phát triển đã hoàn
Have you ever believed that fallen angels, those supernatural beings once chained deep underground, are trying to break free right now? In 2025, a bunch of shocking finds at the Dead Sea have shaken up archaeologists and Bible experts. From the Haaretz newspaper to Bible scholars, everyone's talking about the oldest ancient scrolls ever known, and inside them, there's a warning from the very beginning of time. The Book of Enoch talks about the Watchers, those rebel angels who got sent down to the abyss. This video will take you back to the Judean desert, where the sand and rocks are whispering secrets buried for over 2,000 years. We'll follow the trail of the Book of Enoch, a book that was once banned, hidden from the regular Bible. And then, in 2025, new discoveries from Haaretz, plus this AI called AI Enoch, have pulled back the curtain. Those scrolls are more than 100 years older than any we've known, with weird writing that's never been decoded, like whispers from the deep waking up. This isn't made-up stuff. It's not some fantasy movie. This is real history, carved on animal skins, buried under sand and rock, and now it's coming alive again. All the signs point to one thing. The prison door down there is about to open. Today, we'll step into the shadows of the Qumran caves, where a Bedouin guy in 1947 accidentally woke up in the past. There, among the crumbling papers and dust, is an ancient prophecy about sin, about angels rebelling, and about when they'll come back. We'll read Enoch's words again, shine a light on them with 2025 Haaretz News, and see how the modern world, from AI and gene tech to weird things in the sky, is repeating that exact forbidden knowledge the angels once gave to humans. But before it all comes out, let's go back in time. Ask yourself, who was the first person to find these scrolls? And why do they have the power to shake up history, faith, and even the fate of mankind? Don't forget to watch to the end, because who knows, this might be the wake-up signs God wants you to know about, because you are the one He chose. To answer questions like that, we need to step back a bit to the history of the Dead Sea Scrolls, a priceless treasure that was forgotten for centuries. In 1947, out in the dry Judean desert, a young Bedouin shepherd boy named Mohammed Ed-Dib tossed a rock at a cliff near the Dead Sea, It made a sharp cracking sound in the dark. Following the noise, he found old clay jars full of rolled-up leather scrolls, faded with age. He had no idea he'd just uncovered one of the biggest archaeological finds of the 20th century, the Dead Sea Scrolls. From that first discovery, experts dug into 11 caves around Qumran. They pulled out over 900 manuscripts written on animal skin and papyrus, dating from the 3rd century BC to the 1st century AD. Ancient Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek words had survived thousands of years, like something out of old stories. This was the secret library of the Essenes, a group of Jews living apart by the Dead Sea, cut off from the rest of the world. They might have been the ones who copied and saved the oldest Hebrew Bible texts we know. Scholars split the scrolls into 3 main groups. The first is Bible texts, parts from Genesis, Psalms, and especially the Isaiah scroll, almost complete and over 23 feet long. Compared to today's Bible, it matches about 99%, with just a few small word differences. That's strong proof God's word stayed the same for over 2,000 years, through wars, moves, and time. The second group is the Apocrypha, books not in the main Bible but popular back then. These include the Book of Enoch, with forbidden stories about fallen angels and God's judgment. The third group is Essene, community writings about their monk-like life, purification rituals, and strict rules. One note says, "They lived as children of light, waiting for the day the Lord punishes the wicked." It's like a prophecy echoing through time, making many believe the Essenes were chosen to guard the living word until the end. But the scrolls' journey wasn't easy. After discovery, they sparked fights over ownership among Middle East countries. Israel, Jordan, and Western scholars all claimed them. In the 1,950 seconds and 60 seconds, many texts went missing, sold on the black market, even cut into pieces for collectors. People called that time the Dark Age of Bible scholarship, when secrets about the Bible's origins were locked in politics and greed. Only recently, with advanced scanning from the Israel Antiquities Authority, all 25,000 plus fragments were digitized, rebuilt, and shared with the world. Those blurry Hebrew letters from millennia ago glow again, like God letting us read His words once more. That's when something mysterious comes up. Among the scrolls, parts of the Book of Enoch, the one removed from the main Bible, seen as dangerous to faith. Enoch, Noah's great-grandpa, says God took him to heaven, where he saw 200 fallen angels come to earth, teaching people magic, weapons, and sin. Why was a book detailing evil's origins and fallen beings cut from the Bible? Does it reveal too much about before the flood, when sons of God mixed with daughters of men? Genesis 6-4? And have the Dead Sea Scrolls forced the world to face truths buried for thousands of years? In Enoch, it says, "O mankind, don't think darkness lasts forever, for light still shines on those who listen." Enoch 93-1. A message like it's coming from Qumran to today, in an age when people chase power, science, and desires blindly. That's why many scholars see the scroll's appearance not just as a dig find, but a holy sign, a reminder from God that truth never dies. It just waits for the right time. When those leather pieces unrolled, the world went quiet. The shaky ancient writing seems to tell a story beyond history, about God's word, the fall, and humanity's last hope. And now, as night draws near, we'll move to the next part, where the Book of Enoch opens a door to a forbidden world. Fallen angels descending to earth, starting mankind's darkest chapter. It's really amazing and wonderful, isn't it? How the Lord's teachings always get passed down and show up right when us humans need them most. And here's a story that's even more incredible. You and I are the lucky ones getting to hear it. The dark secrets of the fallen angels in the Book of Enoch. Among hundreds of scrolls dug up from Qumran, one shook the whole religious world, the Book of Enoch. Unlike any other text, it tells about a time when angels didn't just watch humans from above, but came down to earth, sinned, and turned the whole order of heaven upside down. It's a story that goes beyond regular myths. full of legend, yet it makes the Bible come alive in a way nothing else does. Enoch, the great-grandpa of Noah, is mentioned in Genesis 5:24. Enoch walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him away. He's the only one, besides Elijah, who got taken up to heaven without dying. The book, named after him, 1 Enoch, was written in Aramaic, in 5 parts, from the 3rd to 1st century BC. It was popular among ancient Jews, but it didn't make it into the regular Bible for a simple but scary reason. It went into too much detail about the supernatural world, secrets folks weren't ready to know. The most famous part of the book of Enoch is the chapter about the watchers, those who keep watch in the sky. According to Enoch 6:11, 200 angels, led by Semjaza, swore an oath together on top of Mount Hermon to leave heaven and come down to earth. They were drawn in by the beauty of human women, and in an act of rebellion like no other, they mated with them. That's how the Nephilim were born, giant beings with superhuman strength. The Watchers didn't just sin with the flesh, they taught humans forbidden knowledge too. Enoch says, Azazel showed people how to make weapons, forge iron and bronze for swords and spears. Semjaza taught spells, astrology, and witchcraft rituals, and others revealed the art of makeup, making women attractive and alluring, pulling humanity deeper into sin. Every skill, every secret they gave was a piece of the fall, starting wars, lust, and violence. The result was total chaos on earth. The Nephilim, half god, half human creatures, grew greedy and bloodthirsty. Enoch 7:5 says they devoured all living things, then turned to eating humans. The whole world was filled with cries of pain. That's when the good angels like Michael, Raphael, and Uriel begged God to step in. Heaven's anger is described in Enoch 10:4-6. Bind Azazel, throw him into the darkness, and lock him under the rocks of the earth for 70 generations. The Watchers were chained and tossed into the deep pit, called the abyss or bottomless pit, to wait for Judgment Day. As for the Nephilim, when they were killed, their souls didn't vanish. Enoch 15:8-12 says, From the bodies of the giants, evil spirits will rise. They will harm the earth and be called evil spirits. That's where demons come from. According to Enoch, wandering beings stuck between heaven and earth, belonging to neither. To wipe out this sin, God decided to cleanse the world with the great flood. Only one family, Noah's line, descendants of Enoch himself, was saved, and just like that, everything was drowned. But deep in history, the Watchers' sins lingered, buried, forgotten, until the Dead Sea Scrolls were opened again, bringing back those ancient memories. Theologians see that ideas from the book of Enoch never really went away. In the New Testament, Jude 1-6 says, The angels who did not keep their positions of authority, but abandoned their proper dwelling, these he has kept in darkness, bound with everlasting chains for judgment. And 2 Peter 2:4. For if God did not spare angels when they sinned, but sent them to hell, putting them in chains of darkness to be held for judgment. Those words echo straight from Enoch. Even in Revelation 9, John mentions the bottomless pit, where creatures rise from the void in the end times. Could that be the same place where the Watchers were locked up? If so, Enoch isn't just an old record, it's a prophetic piece for the last days. But one haunting question remains. Why was this book hidden for thousands of years? Early church fathers thought it was too dangerous, too likely to scare people into fear and superstition. They worried folks would question angels, that not all are faithful, that there was a real rebellion in heaven. So the book of Enoch was cut from the official Bible, treated like a myth. But the Dead Sea Scrolls brought it all back to life. The Aramaic fragments from Qumran prove Enoch was part of ancient Jewish faith, read and copied alongside other Bible books. What the church tried to hide has risen from the dust. Today, with tech that restores even unreadable text, scholars have found unpublished parts describing how the Watchers regretted it, begged for forgiveness, and a chilling prophecy. When the chains break, they will rise again in the time of the final darkness. In 2025, Israel's Haaretz newspaper reported on a newly decoded scroll, older than all the others, with faded words like a whisper. 70 generations have passed. If Enoch is right, that's the time since the angels were imprisoned, and when the chains might start to break. Could it be that secrets forgotten for over 2,000 years are waking up? Could the Watchers, who taught humans to make light and weapons, be getting ready to return in this age of tech and artificial intelligence? And if Enoch is truly right, then everything we're seeing, wars, chaos, humanity out of control, might just be signs that the final darkness is drawing near. Then Enoch's old words ring out like a timeless warning. Those who kept watch and betrayed the heavens will rise again. But the light of the Most High will shine once more, and nothing can hide from him. Enoch 91-14. And as the night closes in, the story isn't over yet. Because in 2025, the newly decoded scroll fragments are revealing symbols never seen before, like whispers from the abyss, waking the past, and foretelling a future the world isn't ready to face. And I won't keep you waiting long, because right this second, we're diving deep into the shocking discoveries that humankind dug up in 2025. Are you ready? Right at the start of 2025, the archaeology world got rocked when researchers announced a fresh find from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Those nameless scraps of paper suddenly spilled secrets that left scholars and Bible folks stunned. An AI tool called Enoch was used to study hundreds of undated fragments, and the results blew everyone away. The AI Enoch, trained on 30 dated scrolls with 85% accuracy, started decoding 135 mystery pieces. It showed that Jeremiah and Samuel date back to the 4th century BC, 100 years older than anyone guessed. Daniel and Ecclesiastes line up with the Hellenistic period. These finds don't just clear up the dark period of Hebrew history. They hint at a burst of knowledge way earlier than we thought. Is the name Enoch just a coincidence, or a sign from the past reaching into the future? Haaretz put it this way: light shining on mysteries 1,000 years old. But it doesn't stop there. Archaeologists also found a strange stone cup in a Jewish home on Mount Zion, dated to 70 AD. On the surface, over 100 cryptic A letters are carved, the kind only seen before in Dead Sea Scroll 4Q 186. This writing looks like protective spells, mentioning Adonai Shabti, echoing the Bible's Psalms. It's the first time it's shown up outside the Essenes, suggesting ancient mysticism spread farther than we knew. Every letter, every mark feels like a whisper from powers long buried, giving you chills just looking at the stone. The scariest part? These discoveries tie straight to end-time signs. According to Charisma, the new fragments suggest fallen angels once tinkered with genes, like today's CRISPR, to create the Nephilim. Perry Stone, on YouTube, talks about fresh fragments linked to Shemazai and Azazel, stressing that forbidden knowledge is slipping back in, quiet-like, through these old texts. Every find, from AI Enoch to the cryptic cup, is a puzzle piece warning us. They're like whispers from the abyss, reminding us the chains holding the Watchers might be coming loose. The ancient writing, the decoded scrolls, they're not just academic games anymore. They're living signs of fallen angels waking up. Picture it: scraps of paper, carved letters buried for thousands of years, now lighting up the past and humanity's messy future. It's mysterious and creepy, like the Watchers themselves are watching us, getting ready to come back. And then, looking at a Dead Sea map with simulated earthquake effects, you see every dusty patch of land could be where the abyss cracks open, where old secrets are rising. These discoveries aren't random. Per Enoch, this is when the signs start showing, foretelling the return of sealed powers. The 2025 breakthroughs aren't just shocking for archaeology. They make believers and scholars bow to history's mystery. Every fragment, every cryptic letter reminds us we never fully understood what happened, and we're not ready for what's coming. Look close, and these finds match prophecies in Enoch and the Bible. From Jeremiah and Samuel to the cryptic A on stone, they all echo the warning: forbidden knowledge, sealed supernatural forces, chains about to snap. The urgency, excitement, and fear spread. Like the final darkness is almost here. With every Haaretz report, every AI analysis, folks realize we're not just watching a dig. We're reuniting with forgotten history and ancient supernatural secrets, whispering straight to the modern world. These discoveries aren't random. They're signs from Enoch. The abyss is cracking. Why can I say with confidence that the prison doors are slowly creaking open? It's all got solid backing, and here are the real signs that prove I'm right. What do you think? Do you agree with this view? Ancient prophecies in Enoch 10:12 warn that the fallen angels are locked up for 70 generations, starting around 3000 BC, and that time seems to be wrapping up in 2025. The book of Revelation paints a similar picture: stars falling, the pit opening, locusts, or dark beings, coming out for 5 months, hinting at a dangerous moment closing in. The Dead Sea digs seem to echo Enoch, the ground cracking open, old scraps of paper spilling secrets, like a warning that the Watcher's chains might be getting loose. AI Enoch, when it wakes up those old scrolls, doesn't just decode the words. It stands for forbidden knowledge slipping back into our modern world. Mysterious writing on stones and new scroll bits suggest an ancient curse could free the Watchers, and Haaretz points out the dates line up with when the Nephilim showed up. Like a cycle about to repeat, enough to give anybody the chills. If you look at today, these signs get even scarier. Messing with genes, stuff like CRISPR, it's almost exactly what Azazel taught people way back in Enoch. The huge jump in UFO sightings has folks wondering if those fallen angels are messing with the physical world, sneaking into modern events, just like Enoch 15 talks about supernatural beings, and it makes you ask if the world is still safe from the darkness waking up. Every little symbol, every line, every scientific finding seems to sketch out an end times picture where the line between mystery and reality gets blurry. We're seeing a quiet rise of supernatural forces sealed away for thousands of years, and every clue says the chains are shaking. Forbidden knowledge is coming back, and the weird stuff in our world today isn't just random. Experts warn this isn't just old dirt digging. It's a holy wake-up call. Like Ephesians 6:12 says, our fight isn't against flesh and blood, but against dark powers, fallen angels on the move. Every find, every UFO, every scrap of ancient paper rings like an alarm bell, pushing us to wake up to supernatural danger. Get ready for the moment when the physical and mystical worlds crash together. All in all, the signs are clear. The Watchers might be trying to break free. Chains rattling, forbidden knowledge returning, and strange modern events, from gene editing to UFO sightings, aren't random anymore. This is the moment believers need to see that the warnings from Enoch and the Bible are coming true. So, for folks like us, what does it mean? Time to get ready, stay alert, and realize the darkness isn't far off anymore. Every believer is called to read and think about the book of Enoch, to really get spiritual warfare and how supernatural forces mess with the world. Watch out for forbidden tech like AI and gene editing. They might be the modern version of what Azazel once taught. But don't be scared, because God has already won, and believers need to put their trust in Him, pray, and find shelter in Him during these crazy times. In the community, folks talk about the signs, connecting the 2025 Israel events with archaeological finds, and warning about sudden changes in society and nature. Believers need to stay sharp, not get sucked in by anyone or any group. Always look at everything through the Bible, common sense, and different angles. Faith in the Lord, prayer, and a strong spirit are a solid shield against the darkness that's rising. This is also a reminder that every discovery, every strange thing, is a chance for folks to understand deeper the hidden world that runs alongside the physical one. Every UFO, every weird symbol, every old scroll piece reminds us that supernatural history is still going on, and we can't ignore these warnings if we want to make it through body and soul. Stay alert every second. Watch, think it through, and pray. Don't blindly follow any trend or sweet talk. The wisdom from Enoch, the light from the Bible, and trust in God will guide us through the dark and keep us safe from whatever might wake us up from the pit. Bottom line, these finds aren't just archaeology or old texts. They're a living wake-up call from God, saying the time to wake up is now. Open your eyes, open your heart, and get ready to face it, because knowing and believing in Him is the only life raft in this rising storm. Sunrise over the Dead Sea. The first rays slip across the water, lighting up secrets thousands of years old, reminding every one of us that no matter how dark it gets, God's light still shines and protects those who stay awake. This is the moment humanity has to listen, learn, and get ready for what's coming. The world we live in isn't just old books or far-off legends anymore. From the Qumran caves, where Muhammad ad-Dib accidentally found the Dead Sea Scrolls, to the latest AI Enoch studies in 2025, it's all painting a bright, colorful picture full of mystery and the supernatural. Have you noticed this strange matchup yet? Those bits of parchment, papyrus, and hidden symbols aren't just old digs. They're reminders that supernatural history is still happening, and we're right in front of secrets buried for thousands of years. Look around you. Have you spotted any signs? The Book of Enoch, with its story of 200 fallen angels, the forbidden knowledge they brought, and the giant Nephilim causing chaos, isn't just a myth now. Finds from Haaretz, from scrolls over 100 years old to cryptic writing on Jerusalem stones, show these warnings might be coming true. Imagine, the watchers once chained in the deep, could they be trying to wake up? AI Enoch is waking old scroll pieces, hinting at repeating cycles of forbidden knowledge and the chance they might rise again. Do you see the link between past and present? Modern signs aren't far from those old warnings either. Gene editing, CRISPR, UFO sightings, and things hard to explain are lining up in weird ways with what Enoch predicted. Every event, every strange thing, seems to say the line between our world and the supernatural is fading. Have you ever felt something you can't explain, or seen signs others miss? Remember, this isn't to scare you, it's to wake you up. For believers, this is a strong reminder of spiritual warfare, the unseen fight that touches the world around us. Ask yourself, are you ready to spot forbidden knowledge, watch out for tech that could be misused, and understand signs from nature or the stars? Pray, read the Bible, study Enoch wisely and calmly. It'll help you stand firm in the growing chaos. Do you dare to trust and act on being awake? Look back at all we've found. Dead Sea Scroll history, Enoch's story, 2025 discoveries, and signs the fallen angels are trying to break free. From Haaretz to heaven, the puzzle pieces seem to fit, making a picture we once only saw in movies. And through it all, one truth never changes. Jesus still holds the key, Jude 1:14-15. Do you feel His power and protection yet? Humanity is at the edge of a big moment. Fallen angels might be stirring, but we don't have to fear for no reason. Ask yourself, what will you do to protect your soul and family? Staying awake, faith in God, and smart thinking will help you spot signs, avoid tricks, and do the right thing for what's coming. Are you ready to face the truth? This is also a reminder that every believer should share what they know, talk, ask questions, and stay connected with others, because shared awareness makes us stronger against supernatural events. Comment your thoughts on Enoch, the 2025 finds or signs you've seen. Every small step spreads understanding and warning to those still blind in the dark. Are you willing to join this journey? Finally, let Enoch's words echo in our minds. The watchers shall be bound. It's not just prophecy. It's a living reminder that the time to wake up is here. Every choice, every action matters as darkness rises. Open your eyes, open your heart, and get ready to face it, because God's light still shines, guides, and protects those who trust. Do you feel this reminder knocking at your door? End with the picture of sunrise over the Dead Sea, the water reflecting secrets from thousands of years, reminding us that even if darkness rises, faith, prayer, and watchfulness will keep us steady. This closes our journey of discovery, but it opens the door for every believer to act, learn, and stay awake. The moment is close, and God's warning is ringing louder than ever. Are you ready to wake up today? If these secrets blow your mind, and you want to dig deeper into Enoch, the fallen angels, and the signs from way back then to right now, go ahead and like this video, share it with your buddies, and hit subscribe so you don't miss the next part, the Nephilim in today's world. Every like or share doesn't just help get the word out, it's your way of joining this wake-up journey, spotting the signs together, and learning from the supernatural history that's unfolding right in front of us.
After the last Iowa poll, which you mentioned was pretty close, Trump was ahead in the last Iowa poll.
Can you believe it? Just overnight, American political history flipped in a way nobody saw coming. The 2024 election ended with a real earthquake. Donald Trump is back in the White House, and Kamala Harris, the one who took over Joe Biden's legacy, lost big time. Fox News says Trump flipped 7 battleground states, won the popular vote, and now controls both the Senate and the House. But this isn't just a power switch. It's a sign, a shocking signal from the Bible. The man of sin is about to be revealed. 2 Thessalonians 2-3. Could the moment the old prophets talked about to be closer than ever? Biden stood for the old system and extreme woke policies that dragged America into chaos, weak economy, broken borders, and crumbling morals. His collapse isn't just one party losing, it's a crack in the whole order that once held the world back from worse. Is Donald Trump the temporary restrainer, the one keeping the darkness from flooding in? Or was Biden's defeat the moment the restrainer is taken out of the way? 2 Thessalonians 2-7. Clearing the path for the Antichrist to rise? Those questions are waking up millions of believers. This piece will walk you through 3 layers: the post-election facts from Fox News, the Bible's prophecies, and how they're meeting right now in this fateful time. Because this isn't just America's story. It's a wake-up call for the whole world that Biden's fall wasn't random, but a piece in the final script written long ago. And now, the day of the Lord is near. 2 Thessalonians 2-2. So watch to the end of the video. Don't miss a thing to help you stay ready on the path of staying awake. When power shifts, darkness might be getting ready to rise. And when that happens, only the Lord can save humanity. First off, my friend, let's go back together to the setting of the 2024 U.S. presidential race and figure out why Harris lost so badly. What does that mean? Nobody saw it coming. The 2024 election night ended like a political earthquake. Donald Trump, the guy everyone thought was kicked out of the history game, came roaring back and won big. He didn't just take the popular vote. He flipped 3 states that were supposed to be the Democrats' blue wall: Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. The Republicans even grabbed control of Congress. The scene in Washington that night was shocking, like a wake-up call. Kamala Harris, who folks hoped would be the face of a new generation, stood up under dim lights to admit defeat. Behind her, Democratic faces hung low. Meanwhile, Joe Biden, her big political backer, gave a short speech. This was a fair and honest election. But inside the Democratic Party, the knives were already out. Bob Brady, the Philly Democratic chairman, said it straight. They didn't respect, didn't work together. Blame Biden? She lost, he didn't. Cold words, but they nailed the mood of a party cracking apart. Why did Harris fail? It's not just about campaign tricks. It's deeper, in the hearts of Americans where trust ran dry. The economy was still inflating. Gas and food prices kept climbing, and folks in the Midwest felt left behind. At the border, the immigration mess turned into a nightmare. Hundreds of thousands crossing every month, and the government couldn't get a handle on it. A post-election poll showed 70% of Americans thought the country was on the wrong track, and 83% wanted a big change. Do you feel it too? A quiet wave of frustration building year after year with every wrong move. From the messy pullout in Afghanistan that made the world wonder, does America still have what it takes to lead? To those big infrastructure bills full of promises, but no real help for everyday life. Biden said, "We'll show the government can make lives better." But what happened? People saw no hope, just higher bills and shrinking paychecks. Is this just a political switch? Or something bigger? A real warning for a nation drifting from the truth? In Proverbs 29:2, the Bible says, "When the righteous thrive, the people rejoice. When the wicked rule, the people groan." Maybe America today is in a time of groaning, not just from losing an election, but from losing faith in the sacred values that built this country in the first place. Have you ever wondered what makes a whole country change direction overnight? And what turned the tide so fast when Harris was still ahead just before? I know you've guessed it, the voters' decision. According to Fox News voter analysis, a new picture has come out. Men leaned hard toward Trump at 55%, while women mostly stuck with Harris at 52%. But the real shock was the middle class and white working folks without college degrees. 65% of them picked Trump. These are the people once called voting with their feelings, now the ones flipping the nation's fate. Not just them, Latinos shifted too. Trump support jumped to 43%, up 7 points from 4 years ago. Even the black community, long a Democrat stronghold, dropped to 83% for Harris. See it? A quiet wave is moving, silent but powerful. On religion, the split is even clearer. Non-religious folks backed Harris at 68%, but among Catholics, Trump surged to 55%, up 9 points. Something's changing deep down, not just in votes, but in beliefs. It seems when the world turns its back on faith, those holding on pick the guy they think will fight the darkness. Key issues show it too. The economy topped the list at 39% of voters, and Trump crushed it with 61%. Immigration came second, 21%. Trump dominated at 88%. But abortion, the Democrats' big weapon, only mattered to 11% of voters, even though Harris got 85% of that group. Truth is, Americans care more about today's dinner than tomorrow's ideals. And when life gets tough, slogans like woke, defund the police, or gender policies in schools just make them feel farther away or downright mad. Democrat Representative Richie Torres, a black lawmaker, had to admit, don't call black voters white racists just because they voted Trump. Brave words that lay bare the bitter truth that folks once seen as the progressive base are walking away. They don't trust politics anymore. They trust survival instincts, a gut feeling something in this world is off. The Bible warned about this. In 2 Timothy 4:3-4, it says, "For the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers. They will stop their ears to the truth and turn to myths." Is this that time when folks can't tell right from wrong, just chasing what feels right? Today's voter shift isn't just politics. It's a sign of moral rebellion, a stepping stone for the world to welcome the Antichrist, who'll come as a savior but really spread darkness. And look, it all starts with ballots. But sometimes, in those dry numbers, hides a prophecy for all mankind. I wonder, wasn't Kamala Harris's loss more than just one person's defeat? Wasn't it a sign that the whole system is rotting from the inside? And if politics is only the surface, what's really hiding down in the deep waters of America? Inside the Democratic Party right now, it's like a storm. Old-timers and young progressives alike are all looking for someone to blame. Bernie Sanders flat out called Harris's campaign a disaster, a collapse that was bound to happen after years of drifting away from working folks' real lives. AOC fired back, saying the loss came mostly from sexism and political bias. Then Lindy Lee, a party media advisor, pointed the finger at the far left for ruining everything with immigration and gender policies that went way past what most people could stomach. Fox News says this election wasn't just a political loss. It was the American people pushing back against the woke worldview the Democrats built, where family values get brushed aside, moral lines get blurred, and the nation's borders turn into a political joke. While they talk about freedom and fairness, regular folks are struggling with gas prices, crime, and trouble right in their own neighborhoods. The numbers tell the story. Only 30% of Americans think the country is headed in the right direction. Biden's approval sits at 40%, while 97% of Trump's past supporters are still with him. That's a chilling contrast, and proof that the change Biden promised never showed up. Now Trump stands as a symbol of recovery, promising a stronger America with energy unleashed, borders secured, and world peace restored. But behind those promises lies something deeper, beyond politics. A shift in the ages, where light and darkness are fighting for control of humanity's future. The Bible spelled out a moment like this. In Matthew 12:25 it says, "Every kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, and every house divided against itself will not stand." Maybe today's America is the living picture of that verse. A nation split from the inside out, tearing down the very foundation it was built on. If that's true, then Harris's defeat isn't just the end of a campaign. It might be the start of a new chapter in an ancient prophecy, where every political event is just a link in God's bigger plan. Because behind every election, it may not just be a shift in power. It may be a sign that the last days are drawing near. We're going to tell you a truth that might shock you. Every event, every political outcome, every shift in how voters feel, none of it is random. The Bible talked about all this thousands of years ago, in prophecies that still blow our minds with how spot on they are today. First, let's look at the setting in 2 Thessalonians 2, where Paul warned the church about the last days and the coming of the man of sin. In verses 1 to 2, Paul comforts the Thessalonian believers. Don't let anyone shake you up or trick you into thinking the day of the Lord has already come, no matter what they say. Right from the start, the message is clear. People will twist faith to mislead others, and you'll see that playing out in politics and society right now. Next, Paul warns about a great rebellion and this man of sin who will claim to be God and pull off fake miracles to deceive everyone. That rebellion has to happen first, and the man of lawlessness will show up, but only after the one holding him back is taken out of the way. 2 Thessalonians 2-7, New Translation. Just one verse, but it paints the whole picture. There's a force keeping things in order for now, a restrainer shielding the world from total chaos. When that force is removed, the enemy of God steps into the open. So who is this restrainer? Paul doesn't spell it out, but many think it's the Holy Spirit, or governments that keep order, or even a leader who holds the balance. In today's world, could it be a government losing trust, political systems falling apart, or moral values crumbling? When you look at Biden and the Democrats' defeat, the huge voter swing, and the anger boiling over in society, something amazing jumps out. Every sign lines up perfectly with these ancient words. It makes you wonder, if that restraining force is slipping away, then the Antichrist, the one who crushes truth and fools the whole world, might be closer than we think. Chaos is coming, and Paul says, stand firm in your faith, and don't fall for fake signs and wonders. 2 Thessalonians 2:15. This isn't just a heads up for believers back then. It's a wake-up call for all of us today, with politics, society, and morals more messed up than ever. Do you see it? When we look at political history, voter moods, and the cracks in our current order, Paul's prophecy suddenly feels alive, mysterious, and scary close to home. It's not some far-off story anymore. It's a picture unfolding right in front of us, telling every one of us to wake up, pay attention, and get ready for what's coming. When you finally see that the restraining force is slowly fading away, a big question pops up. Who's going to step onto the world stage, pull the strings, trick everybody, and leave humanity stunned? Get ready, because we're about to meet the Antichrist, the one who crushes the truth, the child of destruction, and the darkness right before the light comes back.